Right. I'm very excited about this. Our next guest has literally single-handedly changed the face of women's boxing forever. She's a 5-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and already a 2-weight world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, make lots of noise. Please welcome Katie Taylor.
Great, thanks. I love to have this welcome all the time.
Oh, wonderful performance in Shocker Saturday. Did you enjoy that? Yeah. Good stuff. Sit down. You are sitting down. Relax. Enjoy yourself while we have a look at you in action.
Nice. Yeah! Kick it!
Behave yourself, yeah.
Oh, okay,
right, Kate, welcome back. We are a
Thank
football show, so we thought we'd do the football bits first. Who's your team?
My team's actually Leeds United.
Leeds United?
Why Leeds?
My dad was actually from Leeds, and my older two brothers grew up supporting Leeds as well. So every Christmas we got Leeds jerseys for Christmas, football boots. I was obviously a huge football fan growing up. Yeah.
Do you ever get to see them now? Do you follow them much now, or...?
I haven't actually watched the game in a long time, but I know they're doing quite well. That's about as much as I know.
They're doing all right. They're doing all right. Yeah. Now, we know you're a world-class boxer, but what some people may not know is you also were an international footballer. Yeah?
That's right. I think I had...
That looks like a leg nut.
I had 19 caps for the senior team, and it was more so for underage level. I played under 17s, under 19s. For the Irish team as well. It was obviously a huge part of my life growing up.
What sort of player was you, Kate? What position did you play?
For club level, I played centre midfield. Roy Keane was actually one of my favourite players.
I was going to say, right, OK.
He was like one of my favourite athletes of all time growing up. I loved his mentality, his attitude, his aggression on the pitch.
Did you?
I didn't get as many red cards as he did.
Did you get some reds?
Just,
I knew she would. Oh, it's classic.
How many goals did you score for Ireland?
I actually didn't score that many goals, to be honest, but I can't actually remember how many goals I scored. Not too many.
Well, I know you scored one. Do you know what? If this is the only one, then that's all you need to score, because this is an absolutely incredible goal. This is for Ireland against Hungary in 2007. Not from there. You made sure that was coming on your right, didn't you? Making the space there.
That is a naughty strike.
I actually haven't scored a goal since then. So.
So, was there a point where you had to choose boxing over football?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, when I got to my early 20s, I did have a chance to get a football scholarship over in America when I left school, but boxing was always my number one passion, and I knew that I had to choose between two sports, and I obviously chose boxing.
Do you think because obviously the way in which the women's football game has flourished recently, do you think if you it was happening now, it would be a more difficult decision, or was it always boxing?
I don't think so. I think it was always going to be boxing. I mean, I stepped into the gym as a 10 or 11-year-old. Boxing just took hold of my heart straight away. I love everything about the sport of boxing, the one-to-one combat, the discipline that it involves, and you're not relying on anyone else in the ring. You have to turn up yourself and perform, and you're not relying on the rest of the players on the pitch to actually perform as well.
Is it true that when you started out boxing, Katie, in Ireland, that you you basically pretended you were a boy in order to get fights.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing, actually.
What, for them it is, not for you.
Well, how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, women's boxing wasn't allowed in Ireland at the time. It wasn't sanctioned at all. So for me to get fights, I had to walk into these arenas with the headgear on and the hair pushed up.
You have to tuck it all up.
I had to tuck it all up, and I used to be known as just like Kay Taylor, but
Right.
every time I took the headguard off, then at the end of the fight there was uproar.
Right.
Did you see that face drop? Imagine that. You get pressed up like that. Like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Boys were watching me front row. Oh, no, I got pressed up by a woman.
Oh, brilliant. And so, in terms of your, you know, we talk about the Olympics. You know, you won the Olympic gold, but before that, you were basically responsible for women's Olympic boxing happening, taking place, weren't you? Can you tell us that story, because it's quite incredible?
Yeah, so I got chosen from the Olympic Committee to box in front of the whole International Olympic Committee, really, and this is in Chicago as an exhibition bout on the Men's World Championships. And a few days before the actual fight, I had a meeting with the Olympic Committee, and they told me that this fight was going to be responsible. It was going to be, determine whether women's boxing was going to be in the Olympic Games or not. So there was a small bit of pressure there. Yeah, I was shaking really after that meeting. I knew that this was going to be, an all or nothing fight, really, and all the weight was on our shoulders in that fight. So thankfully it went well a few months after the women's boxing was announced in the Olympic Games. And
it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And so you fulfilled your first dream, which was to win Olympic gold, and then you turned pro. How have you found that the jump? Because they say that the jump from any amateur sport to professional sport is difficult, but in boxing it's the biggest. How did you find it?
Yeah, it's completely different, and I didn't actually realise at the time how much of a difference there actually was between amateur boxing and professional boxing. You're working on completely different things in the gym. You have to grind your opponent down in the pro game. You can see how some top amateur fighters don't go on to actually be great pro fighters. You have to have a lot of skill, obviously, in the amateur game, but in the pro game it takes a lot more. You have to have skill, you have to have a good heart, you have to take it well as well, you have to have a good chin. And
more of a long-term thing with the pro game.
Exactly, yeah. You're obviously fighting over 10 rounds as well, so it is a completely different sport.
And in terms of your personality, we've talked about this a lot. We've had a lot of fighters on here, and they've all kind of got, they've all got that edge to them, and you're sitting here, and it's like, it's hard for me to kind of make that leap that you get in that ring and you become that person. So, how do you do that leading up to the fight? Is it an easy switch to make?
It's like a switch, innit? Even watching them videos,
Yeah.
it's a switch. It's different Kate here to watching them videos.
Yeah, it's a completely natural change for me. I don't have to, when somebody's punching you back, it's actually quite easy to actually get in that mode. But no, I am a very, very quiet person outside the ring, but I think people see quietness as a weakness, but I think there's actually great strength in quietness.
You're an animal in the ring. Tell ya, machine.